This episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snapguam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. This episode is brought to you by D-Day Studios. D-Day Studios is a local photography and videography service run by, well, me. And this is my podcast, so shameless plug. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at D-Day Studio 670 and send me a message if you want to take some bomb photos today. Again, that is D-Day Studio 670 on Instagram. Now back to the episode. Sinky clap. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Dusk Till Don podcast. I am your host, Don Sulet, and welcome to episode 4. And today I have a very special guest. This man is no stranger to the nightlife scene here in Guam, no stranger to the music scene. He goes by John, but his better known as, you like the dramatic pause? He is better known as Mr. DJ Pogi. Buenas and happy day, DJ Pogi.
Hello, and thank you for having me on the podcast.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. I just met him as of this recording 10 minutes ago. Welcome aboard. And you know what, to get straight into it, why DJ Pogi?
Man, it goes way back, dude. So pretty much like I was in this Filipino DJ crew, and we were called the Rude Boy Pinoys. So like even before that, even before I jumped onto that DJ crew, I never had a DJ name. So I was like JP, like DJ John, whatever. I didn't care. Like I just loved the music, right? So my Filipino DJ crew ended up giving me the Pogi name. So it's actually J Pogi, JP, which is stands for John Pogi.
Hey, wow.
But so the way it came about like was pretty much like I was the first DJ that was kind of really focusing on like music for women or like music for girls to dance to and everything like that. Because like at the time I was like what a club DJ 2004. It was like Usher, yeah, Young Jock, it's going down. Like Snap Your Fingers, stuff like that. So it was very like
Hip hop.
male driven, music. So like my take on it was like, man, like if there's no girls in the club, right? Then how can you get guys to go to the club? Because no one wants to be like a guy, like, hey, let's go. I mean, like they have girls night, but they don't have like boys night out. So, anyways, like so pretty much I was like focusing on all the girl music, trying to get girls to dance and everything like that. And then what happened was they were like, hey, why are all these girls coming out for you? And they're like, oh yeah, you're the Pogi guy, that's why. And if you guys don't know, right? So Pogi actually means handsome in Tagalog, Filipino, and I didn't accept that name. I was like, no, we're not gonna go with that
Were you
name,
shy?
man. Yeah, no.
It's usually like that. Like when you call someone Pogi or like Lodi,
Yeah.
Lodi is idol backwards.
Yeah.
That's slang in Tagalog, but like, or that's Filipino slang, not, but like, you're usually like, mamalo, you're a little shy when they call you handsome, eh?
Yeah, I mean, like pretty much like I'm a very like humble, introverted type of person, So like anytime I get like a compliment, I'm always just like, oh no, man, I'm cool, whatever, right? But eventually, it just caught on as a like a joke name, and then it just stayed. People started calling me it. Some people told me it was very fitting, and I was like, all right, thanks. I appreciate the flattery, but I was like at the same time, I just never really felt my name. I even made attempts to change it, but it stuck so much. I can't change it. I can't shake it off.
What other DJ? Because I can't imagine. Prior to us meeting, right? Like, yeah, we probably met like a select few of times just because of our jobs in the past. But like, I can't imagine you as anything other than DJ Pogi.
That's funny. So like, so I game, right? So back in the day, I used to play a lot of first person shooters and whatnot, and I actually was trying to be like more edgy, be more cool. I wanted a cool name, like not like a fluffy, like kind of, childish, like nickname type of thing with Pogi, right? So I was like, oh man, I'll call myself After Effects or like Anarchy or like something like
Something,
edgy and
right?
cool, like, oh, that's DJ Anarchy. Oh yeah, he's gonna bring it on the ones and twos. But I was just like, man, I really couldn't
They already associated you
yeah,
with Pogi.
I couldn't stick with like anything else. I mean, I even tried to do like, I'm an EDM DJ and this is my EDM like special name, but I was like, man, I cannot, like I couldn't shake it.
To get into that, like you talk about EDM, right? So, and you talk about music that women would typically like to listen to as they come into the club. So, what type of music do you typically? Granted, depending on the night, you have like certain themes. But what do you like to play? What do you like to jam out to? What's your set usually like?
Okay, so I mean, like for me, right? Like personally, when I'm playing for, like, say for myself, like I'm at home, I'm practicing, having fun, and everything like that. It's a wide range, super wide range of variety. I play anything from like indie music, like indie, like electronic music, to underground hip hop. One of my favorite hip hop bands or hip hop groups, I should say, Gangstar. So that's like DJ Premier, Guru, and I listen to like a lot of East Coast, West Coast, like underground music, and like I don't know. Sometimes I just listen to R&B, like I mean, but if I want to go mainstream, like honestly, I'm a big Drake and Kanye fan. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like I love their music because it's like ahead of its time.
Right.
You
And
know?
I tell people usually you should. The way I interpret it is separate the art from the artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, it's like really hard for people to do that just because of like who made it, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, like even like recently the R. Kelly thing. I used to
Oh
play
yeah.
like a lot of R. Kelly back in the day, but I don't even play that anymore because I don't know how the reception would be. And like, there's nothing for me. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the song itself. Yes, I don't agree with the person and their activities and what they do in life and whatever. But sometimes the song is just a classic, and like I want to play it, but I still know my place. I'm
Oh yeah.
not.
No,
I'm
I
not
feel
trying to
you.
force anything down anyone's throat. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you, man. Like not to that degree, but I remember growing up, I'd be like, man, I don't like JB, I don't like One Direction. But when I hear like the song, like, man, that's low key a bop, and then I just like, now I can't be caught playing with, I can't be caught listening to this out in public. That was back when I was like in middle high school. I'd be like, no, I don't like mainstream. You don't understand my pain. Hence the Blink 182. Oh snap! Hence the Blink 182 tattoo on my forearm over here.
Yeah, actually speaking of which, right? Like, so I went through the phase, right? I went through the phase where I was like, oh yeah, I was listening to like Taking Back Sunday, uh, man, AFI, like stuff like that,
Miss Murder, you play
Yeah,
that and get a garage band. Or garage band,
exactly.
Guitar Hero, sorry, garage.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I was listening to all that stuff before too, and I was like, man, I can't ever play this out, because people don't want to listen to that. They want to go to the club and have fun and everything like that.
Right, but I think it's making like every time I go out, not every time, a good majority of the time I go out, and people are playing at least the mainstream punk rock songs. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, if it's punk rock, but alternative maybe like Mr. Brightside or Sugar. We're
Oh
going
yeah,
down. I'll be
yeah.
like,
So my partner, DJ Silent, him and I have been like trying to really push this whole open format, which open format means multiple genres, not just specifically R&B, hip hop, whatever. But we've been trying to push like an open format sense of DJing on this island, and it's been like difficult to like kind of like share with people because like people just like Guam culturally, like they like reggae. Culturally, they listen to like you know uh I don't know, maybe like R&B, hip hop and stuff. There's this stuff that they're used to. But me and Silent, we like to push like a little bit of EDM here, a little bit of indie hip hop, a little bit of everything, just so we can expose people to music. And it's really been a difficult transition for us to like really kind of push that down because there's like entities where you know DJs are just focused on a single genre.
right, and like I think people forget that it's okay to experiment because like when I started the podcast, I was like telling people I want to go into this niche genre, but really, do we and when I started my vlogs and everything and my photography, I was like, "Oh, I'm a landscape photographer." And then people are like, they don't click likes on this niche on anything else unless it's like that, unless it's what I'm known for, like landscape, right?
Oh yeah,
So it's hard for people to realize, even though it's my favorite thing to take a photo of, I still kind of get bored,
yeah,
you
I feel
know.
you. I mean, like, dude, honestly, I've seen your stuff. It's pretty good, man.
Eh, Stop. If I had long hair, I'd be doing that. But to get into that, I in my first episode, I was talking about how I briefly talked about how depending on your hobby, it might be a difficult startup cost. And you mentioned you've been DJing since the early 2000s. How was the startup cost like back then, and compared to now? Obviously, you and we'll get into monetization in a bit and how you've
Oh yeah, for sure.
turned this. We don't have to go into like specific numbers, right? But like how you turned your what became, I'm assuming, a passion and a hobby into something that you get paid to do. You get paid to do, you know, go out and party essentially.
Yeah.
So how's the if you if you were to start now brand new, you just started as a new DJ now versus back in the early 2000s. Do you think the startup cost is worse now to get into DJing?
Honestly, like I would like to say it's more cost efficient now. So like back in the day, like man, so I have adult money now, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's like, maybe like I look at it now and I'm just like, oh yeah, I can afford this. It's like easier, to get like a computer, get a little controller DJ thing. But back in the day, man, like I'm gonna tell you something that not many people know. So when I bought my first ever turntable set, it's like a turntable, then you have two turntables, a little thing in the middle, which you call a mixer, and then you have to have like needles to play the record. So there was like an all-in-one thing that there was this guy locally who was selling, and like man, I saved up all my lunch money for that. It was only, I mean, like I would say only, because I have the adult money, right? But it was only like $200 back in the day. But you got to understand, I was like 14.
Oh, that's a lot
Yeah,
for a
so
14-year
yeah,
old.
dude. So what I did was like every time I went to school, I paid for my lunch. I kept that $1.25 from my mom, and I saved that up. And then like she sent me to like the market to go get like, oh, go get groceries, and I'd keep the coins. So I saved up like $200, all coins,
How do-
and I wrapped them all up, and I paid the guy, and he was like, yo, what the?
how do- I would be like, yo. But when if it's a teenager paying, I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
I think I'll be a little more graceful for a teenager paying me in quarters,
yeah. I mean, like it's like, hey, that's hustle. You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
But now you say it's more cost efficient now. Is it because technology has improved for you to be a DJ?
Yeah, so like before, man, a lot of things would be pretty much costing. Like, say for instance, that you buy a record. Like nowadays, you can get like a song for like 99 cents if you really want to, and put it digitally. But like when I had to buy a record, it's $15 to like 25 just to get an album, or like even like one song on a specific record. So besides that, there was the cost of the turntable, the equipment, and everything like that. He's like that the guy that sold it to me, like yeah, it was $200, but to get it, like shipped to Guam, everything like that, it was like maybe like the total initially was like 500, then you had to ship it, so that's 600. So imagine like I saved realistically like $400. So like at the time that's like $600 plus like every single song that I want to get, so that's another 15, 20, $25, and then I had like hundreds of records before. So I would say like yeah, like if I can like save up, have all these MP3s and everything like that, buy like a cheap laptop, like $200-300 laptop, and then get a $200-300 controller, less than $1,000, you already have a full setup. Yeah,
Dang.
you know what I mean? So I
So,
mean, like, man, like even back in the day, like trying to get a speaker to like ship to Guam, like we didn't have online stores. I know I sound old saying that, but
no, man, I'm 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 young, but like I still grew up in the early 2000s. I remember my dad would be like hunting at the electronics store, and then I just remember like fond memories of my dad, like, and my mom. Oh snap!
yeah,
Really quick break. Dispenser one battery went out. Quick intermission. Hopefully that's saved.
yeah, yeah. But I see what you're saying with the camera stuff.
All right, all right, all right.
Well, actually,
I'm,
it was the cost of like equipment and things
there
like
we
that.
go.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go back into it. This is the part I want to edit out. This just for me to sync up. All right, welcome back. We got the battery situation figured out. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. But so we're talking about, sorry, the startup cost of being a DJ. So you said it's cheaper now. Is it also because everything went digital?
yeah. So like what I was saying earlier, like pretty much like the cost of DJing now is like ever since it went digital, it's been easier like to get music. So say for instance, like right now, my hard drive, it's like 10,000 plus songs. If I had 10,000 records, that would be like a small fortune. You know what I
All
mean?
right. My homie just gave me a Bluetooth shoot record player.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh snap. And then I went to the store at the mall. It used to be Tropical Teas Haven. And
Oh
then
yeah, 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 yeah.
and then I saw, again, shout out Blink 182. I saw the Blink 182 record, so the self-titled record, and I saw the Linkin Park Meteor
Yes.
album, and I was like, oh, I gotta get these. And then I saw the price, $45. I was like, what am I doing?
Man, like so like when those albums actually first came out on vinyl, right? I remember paying like $25 for the full album. And I was like, man, this is so expensive. But
Dude,
but I wanted it, you know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
That's it. To quote what you said earlier, adult money. I grew up broke, so when I came into some real money, I became broker.
Oh
Just with,
yeah.
I had champagne taste with a beer budget.
Man, honestly, like even me, like I'm wondering why, like, man, before I was like, how did I afford like rent and all this stuff? But like right now, I'm like just paying for gas and like toilet tissue. I'm like, man, I'm struggling, dude.
Man. So I've been on a diet, right?
Yeah.
It was cheaper for me to eat unhealthy.
Oh yeah, I
I
know.
paid $70 the other day. This is just for a week's worth of chicken breast
Yeah.
and lean ground beef and lean ground turkey, just for 5 days, not even a full week.
Yeah, dude, man. I know exactly what you mean. Like eating healthy, dude. I don't know why it's so much more expensive.
Right?
It's like, yeah, I know we gotta pay the farmers and the produce people and all that kind of stuff, but man, like sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna save a couple bucks here and
And you see the choices. You got 485, and then you got 495. You put back the 495 just because that 10 cents adds up.
yeah, it's like oh, it's a couple ounces off, but yeah.
It's that still adds up. Sometimes you
Oh
gotta
yeah, man.
sacrifice a little bit.
I know exactly what you're saying. That's why, like, going back, right? With the whole music thing, like, I would say, like, equipment wise, it hasn't changed much. Like, as far as equipment, like, yes, technology has progressed and everything like that. There's a lot of all in one controllers, but man, the music behind it, like, the cost effectiveness of, like, uh, from physical media to, like, digital media has been, like, tremendous. So, like, say, for instance, you're a brand new DJ, like, you want to join, like try to start up your own little DJ thing, right? You can join what they call a record pool, which is like a pool of music that is curated by other DJs. So if you want to join a record pool, there's like memberships that range from like $15 to $30, and then it's like unlimited downloads, and it's all like legal because
Dang.
the caveat to it's like it's for promotional use, which is promotional through you as a DJ playing, right? So yeah, so you can like download unlimited amount of music as long as it's there on the website, and $30 a month. That's a deal.
I think you can make that in like 1 gig, right? Depend on other costs. But to get into that, since everything went digital, what do you think? Like, there's that stereotype, just like with photographers, people think that
Oh
our
yeah.
camera takes the best photo. Like, oh wow, your camera takes good photo. I'm like, excuse you, I'm the one who took that photo. So like, how do you feel about like people saying that DJs just press on their MIDI keyboards, or they're, in your case, the I don't the turntables, they just press a button and then they just hit play and that's it. How do you feel about that?
Man, like so about that, right? I've always been asked this question a lot, especially from like new DJs. And to me, like I kind of don't care, right? So I don't care about the stereotypes. I don't care about whatever. I do what I do. I have to, I enjoy it, right? But I do admit like there is a lack of skill that's visible. So pushing buttons. It's depends on how you use it, right? So if you're just pushing buttons just for like oh I look cool pushing buttons versus using the tool itself, right? So like you're into photography. If you're using the tool to enhance the experience, enhance what you're doing, then yes, it doesn't matter. You could use like a $500 camera, but if you use the tool, like say for instance post processing, you can make that $500 camera produce pictures that look, like thousands of dollar camera or $2,000 camera. So say for instance I buy a controller that's like $200, it's mostly buttons versus like actual like spinning platters or whatever, you know what I mean? But if I'm using it and I'm able to, you know, show that I'm skillful with it, then who cares? You know what I
Right.
mean?
And to educate me and my dear viewers and listeners, what's a controller?
Oh yes, I should have said that.
In layman's
Okay,
terms, what's a
yeah.
controller?
So pretty much a controller is it's like an all-in-one thing, right? So there's in DJing, it's usually a media player, so like a turntable, or a lot of EDM user or DJs, they use what they call a CDJ, which is a CD media player. So you usually have two of that at the very least, and then in the middle is like a soundboard. So the soundboard is called a mixer. So if you have that layout where it's two turntables, so one right here, and then the mixer in the middle, a controller is basically all of that in a smaller form.
Oh, okay. So it just condenses
Yeah,
everything.
so it makes it a lot easier to carry around, a lot easier to like, start up, you know.
Right. Because I remember I watching like old TV shows and stuff, people being DJ, and it's like, I used to gig with my guitar in the past.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is such a hassle. And then I'm thinking back to the old sitcoms where the DJ's practically bringing the whole dance floor with him when they go places.
Oh yeah,
So
man.
I'm just like, dear God. And then they expect so and I bet you feel this too, where people are just like, we're just paying for you, right? But
Yeah.
like, no, but you're paying for my equipment
Yeah,
too.
speaking of which, right? So I've lived through what I like to call the transitional period. So, back in the 90s, it was just pretty much no digital, right?
Right.
So, like in the early 2000s, they started doing CDs, like a CD media player. And then beyond that, they started doing a laptop media player along with, turntables and a mixer. And then now they have controllers. So I went through the whole process. And all I know is pretty much my back went through the same process too. So now I just carry a controller around.
My gosh, my whole setup here, excluding what we have here in the studio, just because it's in a controlled setting,
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. But like, my gosh, I remember I used to bring everything in, and then some just in case, like, oh, I might need this, I
Oh yeah,
might
man,
need
I'm
that.
I'm the same exact way. Oh yeah, I might need this this one wire that I never use, but you never know.
Right, this might be the one time I'm gonna use it.
And then when I need it, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I forgot it.
Right,
Damn it, I forgot. Now I gotta drive home.
right.
Now I'm wasting more money on gas.
And then you're late, even though you came early and just to set up, and then you're like, now it looks bad on you.
Yeah.
My gosh. So to get, when did you start making money out of this? When did you realize that you can? Obviously, you have your day job and everything, but you're still doing this. You're still monetizing it. When did you realize like this could possibly be something that you could, if you wanted to, go full time?
Yeah, so I mean, like, okay, so for me personally, right? I've never been about making money from this. Like, I know it sounds like, oh yeah, that's cliche, whatever, or like it's all like, oh yeah, you're lying, you're a liar, I'm like, no, I've really just enjoyed DJing for like the whole time I ever experienced it. Like, so pretty much when I started, like, I wasn't doing it for money. I obviously paid like I saved up all my money and I hustled, like I kind of hustled my mom, like to get like the coins and everything like that. Yeah, I got a couple of dollar bills from it too, And I bought the turntables because I wanted to, not because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make $200, I'm gonna make $100, I'm gonna make $50, whatever. So, I was like practicing everything like that. And when I started actually making money and realizing that I could maybe fund a little bit of my hobby, I was like 16 years old. And then I went to Derrida Night Market, and there happened to be a DJ there. And he was playing, and he was like, I was like, oh man, this is so cool. He's playing for a night market, like the music is good, whatever. So I went to him and I just talked to him. I was like, hey man, like, how can I get into this? I DJ at my house. And then he gave me a little tryout, right? So he made me be his, what they call a roadie. So a roadie is like someone that helps set up for the DJ, right? So I did that for like a little bit, and yeah, I would play music in the beginning of the night, like no pressure situation because he's the main DJ, right?
You were his opener.
Yeah, I was pretty much the opener. So what happened was I started making like $50, and dude, I'm 16 years old. $50 was a lot of money. I was like, man, I made $50. That's $10 an hour. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm balling, dude.
Right. I think minimum wage back in what, 03, 04 was like what? In Saipan,
Yeah,
at least
it
it
was
was
like
like $4.
or even in Guam, I think it was like $6, $7. So I was
See?
like, man, I'm getting $3 more than everybody else, you know?
Right.
And then I was working this roadie gig like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's $150 a week.
And as a teenager, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm having fun, right? Versus like, nothing wrong with it, but working on 9 to 5 or anything like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? So I was like, pretty much, yeah, man. I'm making $150 a week. So you do a 2 week, but every 2 weeks I'm making $300.
And you're not paying rent. You're just doing what you like to
doing
do.
something that I enjoy. At 16 years old, man, I was like, yeah, we're gonna drive across the island today, guys, because I can afford gas.
Everybody's getting
Yeah.
a biggie bag or
Yeah.
getting Burger King.
Yeah.
A
No,
treat.
it was no double cheeseburger for you because you remember double cheeseburger used to be $1 at McDonald's, right?
Oh my
So I was
gosh.
like, we're gonna get a double cheeseburger and a McChicken.
Oh snap!
Or-
That was back when it was like $1 each. Now
Yeah.
it's like $3.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, you guys want to get a 10-piece nuggets?
That's how you know that your homie was balling when they get the 10 piece.
Yeah, it was like, oh dang, you got 10-piece nuggets, man.
Right. But to go back into like you're just like you didn't do it for the money. I typically what I see with people in our field, by our I say creative field, right?
Yes.
Usually they don't. The trend I'm seeing is they didn't start out for the money. The money followed them, or
Yeah.
eventually, right?
I think like personally, right? It's if you find a passion and a love for something, like the success will come later. I mean, especially if you put in hard work and everything like that. So like, yeah, I got paid pretty decent. I mean, I kind of don't want to say how much I make. You know,
don't have to.
Yeah, but realistically, like I made a pretty penny. Like DJing for a year where I had to pay taxes. And if you don't know what paying taxes feels like, it's not fun.
I just started and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
should-
like just to break it down a little bit, right? Like, so if you make above a certain like tax bracket for all like the younger listeners, just so you know, if you make above a certain tax bracket, you have to pay taxes. So when I was working my regular 9 to 5, I didn't know that because I was just like, oh yeah, they're taking taxes out of my check, and I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't have to pay at the end of the year, whatever. But I was like, man, when I started making actual money from DJing, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna file all of this, and boom, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna pay.
Right? No,
Yeah.
and I think it was only recently I started to pay, and I was just like, maybe if, I think I could be fine living down in Santa Rita and paying for a $500 house. You know,
I know what you mean, man.
Like, everything
thought
could be
of-
cheap.
I thought about moving to Umatic, bro.
Right? Just so I could live off minimum wage instead of what I do now. Like my day job, my freelance gigs, everything. I'm like, maybe it's not too bad
Yeah.
living minimum wage because I don't want to pay these taxes. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'm originally from down south, so I wouldn't have mind, like moving down south. But I was just like, man, driving. I was like, oh man, this is a long time. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I'm from Saipan, so everything's far to me.
That's actually funny because like someone from Saipan just came to visit me out here, right? And she was telling me, wow, you have to drive everywhere. And I was like, yeah, you kind of have to. And she goes, man, in Saipan, we just walk.
Dude, yeah. My high school to my house, so my high school is in Oliai, Mariana's high school.
Yeah.
And then my Oliai or Susupi, one of the two. And my house was in Garapan. That's a Tumuning equivalent.
Yeah.
It's only like 2 to 3 mile walk.
Yeah.
And we still have the bus. And but I tell people if you're driving in Saipan and you have 2 songs that you finish 2 songs in your drive, the drive is too long.
Yeah.
If it includes you, unless you're trying to find parking, because I think that's something Guam and Saipan share.
Yeah.
Bad parking.
Oh, horrible parking.
Have you been Saipan?
Yeah, of course.
Have you
I
DJ'd in
love-
Saipan?
Yes, I love Saipan. I DJ at GIG.
They're back open, right?
I don't know.
So you haven't been
but
recently?
I just want to, before we even say anything, the reason why I DJ'd in Saipan is because I just want to shout out my homie, Big Ken. Thank you. Thank you for always having me in Saipan.
Shout out Big Ken.
Yeah, so Big Ken was always the homie that brought me out. And yeah, man, honestly, I love Saipan because I love the change of pace. You know what I mean?
It's slow, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, I love the fast life. I love like happening, things happening and whatever. But at the same time, like, sometimes you just need that break, So,
Definitely.
I go to Saipan, it's very homie related. Like you guys go to the beach and like almost every weekend, and you guys have fun with like your friends and everything like that. So like, it's like I miss that.
Right. Well, it helps that the beach is just like right next to the road.
Yeah, I know. I just walked there.
Yeah, it's a beach road now, but like, my gosh, GIG. I didn't start going into the nightlife until I came to Guam. Not to say that Guam's a bad influence, but low-key, it's a bad influence. So I just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I wish I went out to like the clubs in Saipan because
Man,
there's a difference.
Speaking of which, right? I really don't get what the negative connotation is with the whole nightlife being so negative. Because people are like trying to release, have fun and everything like that. Yes, there's bad seeds. There's bad seeds in everything, right? But take for instance for me, like I don't drink. Like
At all?
Yeah, no, I mean like here and there, sure, whatever. But I don't drink beyond my limits. I don't get drunk or anything like that. I don't even like drink on a consistent basis. Like if you see me DJing, I'm drinking water. Like I'm not even like fronting about that. Like this is the truth. You can ask all my homies.
You're a
throughout the
good
whole.
noodle.
Yeah, they call me a square, but like yeah. So like pretty much like I don't drink. I make sure I get home safe. Like I have a family that I look forward to seeing every time I go back home. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just that if you know how to moderate yourself and carry yourself, then you're gonna be fine. Like I always make sure that I take a safe way home. You know what I mean? Like I watch out for like the people around me. Versus like just trying to like be involved in something. So like if you see like a bunch of people who are like rowdy, I go the other direction. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I remember I'm not that old, but like back in my younger days, when I
Yeah.
first started going out, I remember I was like, I don't want to go out because people always be fighting. But then the more I saw, like, people actually care about people.
Yeah.
People care about people. Yeah. Like and this is how I knew people in Guam actually care. Like my homegirl, I was helping her to the car, but it's a little suspicious because she's drunk
Yeah.
and I'm a big dude. So they're like, hey, yo. And I'm like, no, we're together.
Oh
We're
yeah.
good.
Just
But the fact that they checked up on her to make sure that it's not some strange dude,
yeah.
So I'm like, that's how I knew, like, the world's not so dark as people make it out to
Yeah,
be.
because I mean, like honestly, like for me, like I really don't see anything wrong with like nightlife. It's more of a individual kind of thing, right? You know what I mean? Because like people go out, you have fun. It's like people have fun in different ways. Some people go swimming. Some people like jump out a plane for fun. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like if you go out and just to like release some stress, hey, why not?
No, I feel you, man. And that's why, my friends call me, they're like, you're down because, like, I'm really big into the punk rock scene,
Yeah,
really big on the alternative. And so when I go out to like shout out these local businesses, live
yeah.
house and stuff, and the whatnots or a long drive home we're
Oh
playing,
yeah, man, I love
and
those guys.
and then the mosh pit starts or Surrender the Thief, especially when Surrender the Thief is out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, suddenly they just see me in the circle, and then I'm kicking someone, and then I'm
Yeah,
like,
see,
but
this is the thing is like mosh pit is like you have the respect, but you're having fun at the same time.
oh
But
yeah.
outside of the mosh pit, you're like, hey, what's up, homie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like the dude who just elbowed me. I'm just like, you good? And he's like, are you good?
yeah,
A black guy right over here,
yeah. It was hilarious and it was fun.
right? My gosh, but how is it like though balancing like? Because typically, what I notice, what people in like in your industry specifically, like the nightlife
Yeah,
scene, how's it like balancing of family life and the nightlife scene?
honestly, it's challenging, right? So I have a daughter now, right? So like before I would go out, I have no repercussions per se, like to wake up, you know, on a certain time. It's my time, right?
I feel you
Yeah,
there.
but I have a daughter now, so if she wakes up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, I have to wake up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, even though I got home at like 3, 4. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we go eat after. You know what I mean? But
Right.
like
Shout out
yes,
Kings.
yeah. So pretty much, yeah, man. Like it's challenging in the sense of like balancing time. You know, and then obviously I work. So I have to balance work as well and make sure that I'm performing there. So I would say like before when I was younger and everything like that, yeah, it's no stress. But now there's so much stress. So like when I DJ, like I just try to have like a good time and I just try to have fun playing music for people and like I don't do it as much because my daughter always comes first, family comes first and then yeah, and then I go to work too. And so I try to make sure I sleep in there.
Right. So, really quick, we'll go into a little more detail on how you balance your life because you got, I think, 3 lives in one body right after this quick break. This episode is brought to you by Snap Guam Studios. Film photography is making a comeback on island. One of the questions I get ever since I started film photography is where I get my roles developed. Snap Guam is a Guam based photography and videography studio that offers film development and scanning services. They also have a variety of different film stocks like Kodak Gold and my favorite, Portra 800. Want to start getting into film photography? They also sell film cameras from SLRs to rangefinders and disposables. Get your film developed by Snapguam Studio today. Contact them on Instagram at snap.film.record_gu. This episode is brought to you by DJ Studios. DJ Studios is a local photography and videography service run by, well, me. And this is my podcast, so shameless plug. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at DJ Studio 670 and send me a message if you want to take some bomb photos today. Again, that is DJ Studio 670 on Instagram. Now back to the episode. All right, welcome back. Round three. Thank you again, Mr. DJ Pogi. So, before the break, we were talking about your schedule and trying to balance all three lives. You
Hmm.
got the work, the day job, you got the family man, and you got DJ Pogi himself.
Yes,
So, do you like think a routine is needed for all of that?
man. Actually, it's been really great to be blessed with a set schedule. Because man, if I didn't really have that much of a set schedule, it'd be hectic. So when my daughter was like younger, right, it was harder because I'm on her time. You know what I mean? But now she's in school, so I have work. I pick her up from school, drop her off to her mom, and then I go DJ. So I have I like to call it power naps. So I have my little power naps within the day. So say for instance, I get off I don't know, like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that, right? She gets picked up at 2:30, whatever. So I would take my little nap and then be good, and then I would hang out with her, take her out to the mall, do whatever, like play with her, and like just do dad stuff, right? And then her mom would just get her like towards the evening time, and then take another short nap, and then hey, I go DJ at like 9:30 until 2.
So, how is it like having like obviously power naps, but how's it like with your health? Because people forget that, and I think it's a trend again with our line of work as
Yes.
creatives where we go full force, we go all out. My schedule is pretty much like all over the place
Yeah.
too. Like, yeah, it's kind of set, but at the same time, like it's not set where I'm pretty sure while you're not DJing, you're honing your skills, you're doing something else, you're trying out new sets, you're trying out
Oh
new
yeah.
playlists. So that's what people don't see is the outside of our set
Yeah, like
schedule,
the time and effort that you put into things, right? Yeah.
right? So how do you balance that with health?
Man, so okay, so I went through a little bit of a health scare. Like not to get too personal, but had a little bit of a health scare like maybe like 3 years ago. So when that happened, I was like, man, I really got to change my health, right? So I started like eating clean, dieting, and everything like that. And like balancing it was very hard because you have to be like mentally strong, because there's so much temptation of like food, right? Especially Guam, of
Oh
all
yeah.
places. Yeah, red rice. Oh man, I love red rice, but man, I haven't ate red rice in a long time. I'm just being honest, right? Maybe like a little bit here and there, but I kind of like watch out,
No,
like how
yeah,
much I
yeah.
put. Like instead of like one scoop, it's like half a scoop, like I
Right.
get the flavor or whatever. But as far as like health wise and like exercising and everything like that, it's a mental thing. So like when I wake up, do I do my little calisthenic, exercises, or am I lazy and I just go shower and go to work, Or when I wake up, do I just pick up my daughter, or do I, you know, give a little bit like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like just to do a little jumping jacks and a little like push up, sit up, workout. You know what I mean? Because for me, like it's hard to get to the gym, and I respect you for that because I see you go to the gym, man. Like I wish I had time to go to the
I don't
gym.
got kids, man. So
Yeah, I
that's
know.
how.
Yeah, so it's like if there was a nursery there, maybe I would go take. Hey,
Just work. Just
yeah,
get a room like one of the hotel gyms, and
yeah,
then or at one of the hotels, and there you go.
yeah. That's actually not that bad of an idea, but man, so so I went through a little like health scare, right, and everything like that. Changed my diet, everything like that. So I've cut a lot of carbs out of my life.
That's a hard thing to
Yeah,
do, man.
unfortunately, like my war kind of messed it up.
Oh yeah, you got
Yeah,
to eat
because
what.
because whatever's in the cupboard, I had to eat spam again and like
Oh
itchy
yeah.
band and everything, like So I stacked up, and then man, especially like how long it lasted, like people don't realize that it was like really hard because it's you had to eat like stuff. If you went to the grocery store, you had to cook it right away because you couldn't store it because there's no power, right? And even if you had a generator, it's like it only lasts for so long unless you were able to line up for gas and yada yada, right?
Right.
So
Those 8 hour long
I mean, so
lines.
like, not even gonna lie, I gained some weight back, So I gained maybe like 20 pounds back, and then um, I did my military time, and I started losing weight again, and then now I'm like fluctuating, but I do plan to like kind of hit it hard again and like diet more and then like be more active and everything like that. So I'm just trying to get like back into my routine because I recently got back from like my military deployment, so yeah, pretty much like it's just mentally. Like as long as you mentally can control like how you go about your day, like like eating healthy, like instead of eating like ground beef, I eat ground turkey, or ground chicken or something like that. Cause like there's a huge difference between those. And instead of eating fast food, I try to cook at home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I feel you. And my second episode, I talked about how there's more time than people think, but I also acknowledge that there are, it's hard to find time when in certain areas of your life because you get used to this whole routine and some things are time dependent on other factors.
Yeah.
Like if your kid, you mentioned it earlier, your kid wasn't of school age yet.
Yeah.
So you had to watch out for your kid, had to,
Yeah, I have to feed her, everything,
right.
you know?
That's your time. Her time is dependent on you.
Yeah.
Like her well being is dependent on your time.
You know, it's one tool that actually really helped me out with like saving time. Air fryer.
Dude, yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I was like, man, I'm just gonna set it and forget it, and
Right.
then I'm good.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like I need to cook other things in my air fryer. So far it's only been chicken breast.
Hey, but it saves so much time. It's like, okay, I'm gonna throw this in 15 minutes. I'm gonna go take a shower. Oh,
Right.
I'm dual multitasking. You know what I mean?
And it's
Like,
healthy because it's not really fried.
yeah, exactly. Just little spritz of oil and everything like that. You're good, man.
Right. And
yeah.
then to quote them gym TikToks, it's zero cow
Yeah.
on the what do you call that?
But I'm not.
Non-stick?
I'm not even kidding. The air fryer has saved me so much time even as a parent. Like, say for instance, my daughter wants food. Like, you know, I have like chicken nuggets inside my fridge. I just throw it in the air fryer. You know, instead of like driving down to like McDonald's or something like that, or you know, like because before I would fry it on a frying pan, and that's not exactly the healthiest. You know what I mean? Or like
you gotta
throw it
put a
in the
little oil in there.
throw it in the microwave, which is even worse. You know, sometimes. You know?
Right.
So now the air fryer is like, yeah, it's like texture wise better and then tastes better too. So now I save more time and I get to hang out with my daughter longer versus like us taking a drive and then I have to keep her occupied because she gets bored in the car, yada yada. You know what I mean?
You don't play your sets. like in any listen to this. What do you think of this?
No, man, my daughter don't enjoy it.
You should make that
No,
a
I mean like
challenge.
you know what's funny? So my daughter actually enjoys just like moving the platters and like pressing the buttons. So she enjoys like making the noise, right? But when I'm actually like practicing and playing music, she goes, "Daddy, turn it down. It's too loud."
Your daughter's an old soul
Yeah, I
right
know.
there.
So
that was me when I was younger.
yeah, so I started like just wearing my headphones and then like, you know, it's pretty much like I wear my headphones and then I'm like in my little zone while she's like she's not an iPad baby by any means, but you know, but sometimes like she'll just watch her iPad. Like that's one thing I actually really like about my daughter. She's not iPad like dependent. She likes going outside and I'm an aircon baby. So I'm like, oh, go, you know, and I'm sweating.
Yeah, but it forces you to be out about and
Oh
more a
yeah,
little more
for sure.
healthy, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like you know, we'll go on a like a walk or something. I'll take her to the park, and then I'll just like follow her. So it's like I'm still like engaging myself in like some kind of like extracurricular activity. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got a dog for that purpose too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I live with my roommate, but my roommate don't care if I come
No,
home or not. But so it's nice to have something or
Yeah.
some. In this case, my dog is
I mean,
excited to
let's
see me when I get home.
Don. Let's be real. You got the dogs to attract chicks.
Y- You know, tell that to my dating profile. I put her first, and then I haven't gotten updates on my Tinder, man.
You need a dog Instagram. That's what you need.
I want to, but I have 3 Instagrams. I got the Finsta, I got the photography, and I got the regular. If you find my Finsta, I will not accept you. That's for me and stuff that I can't. But if for homies, you know, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's for my viewers. You know, if you find my Finsta, then no, just don't judge me there.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? You know, if you follow me on my regular Instagram, there's a lot of sad memes. You know, going through a breakup and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Man, you know, so like I would get a dog honestly because I want one, but it's another like responsibility.
another mouth to feed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, my time is already short. I don't want to come home and my dog hasn't eaten, and I'm like, oh man, he's not alive.
Maybe when your daughter gets older.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe she'll take care of him.
or
Yeah.
has she asked for a dog yet?
She has actually asked for a bunny.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think
I was
they're
like,
harder
"A
to take care
bunny?"
of.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I have a friend that's like a bunny fanatic, and she says it's really difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd rather get I got my dog from Gain. Shout out to Gain.
yeah.
And she's a trooper. She ate. So this is my fault. I left a chocolate chip cookie. It was my cheat day. If my coach is listening, my cheat meal. I left a chocolate chip cookie on my table,
Mhm.
and I didn't know she could go and she's small, but like she hopped on the bed, went on my computer desk, and grabbed
Oh
my
man.
and she's still kicking it. I didn't have to go to any of the pet hospitals.
Yeah.
I'm like, get it. That's why I'm a big
Yeah.
advocate for adopt. You know,
Yeah.
but segueing it back. That's a lame segue, but you know, I'll take it. We're good. Oop. Battery died. Oh snap!
Yeah.
Quick, five 5 second intermission. Man, plenty technical difficulties. Shout out DJ Pogi for being so patient and for being the second guest. We will be back real quick. All right, welcome back. I promise that's the last intermission. We're back from the technical difficulty. I'm sorry, I blanked out right there.
Yeah.
Dispense 806. But
Yeah.
so we were during the battery change. You were talking about something you wanted to bring up, something you're trying to start up.
Yeah, so I know we talked about it earlier about like trying to get started and like learning how to DJ or like how I started DJing and making money and whatnot, right? So like to segue into that, right? I'm pretty much trying to start up a small project of mine that I'm trying to see like if there's people interested in like helping me start it. So it's a DJ school. Like I feel like there hasn't really been a DJ class in a sense in a long time. And when I say a long time, is because I'm familiar with the what do you call this? The history of Guam. So there was a DJ before who used to man, I want to say he taught at like Simon Sanchez, and he used to teach like a DJ class, and it was like an elective. It was a legit DJ class as an elective, and I was like, wow, that's cool. I wish I went through that class, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I know about that. So after that I noticed that like back in the 90s, like that's what got a lot of like the people I look up to, like what we call the OGs, right? So they started because they were interested in like the whole aspect of trying to learn to DJ from this DJ who was a teacher. So I took that like to heart, and I want to give back to the community now. So like especially I'm getting older, and I want to like kind of like slow down. I family man, of course. So why not give back and have like give other people opportunities? Sure, like the money is cool and everything like that, but I want to like kind of nitpick who exactly is going to come in, because I want to make sure that they have the right mentality going in, that they're coming in for like the music, coming in for the experience to learn skills and whatnot. And yes, I'm trying to start an actual DJ school.
You got a name for it already?
Yes, I do.
What is it, if you don't mind?
Okay, so I'm trying to work on a partnership on a couple things. So there's the actual DJ name of the school, and then there's the possible what do you call this, collaboration like class. So the school is called Foundation DJ. So I came up with foundation as you want to build a nice foundation so that they can build upwards, right? So that's exactly what I'm going to give them. So I want to build them from the ground up, pretty much. Like teach them the intricacies of like what I've learned over my experience of like 20 plus years of DJing, and also like through my personal experiences. So I wanted to do pretty much like like teach them everything that I know, so that they experience it through me, and then they can build up from there, and they can take it wherever they want to go. If they want to pursue it as a career, sure, cool, I'll help them out. But if they just want to pursue it as a hobby, that's even great. So I don't care either way, as long as they take something from the class. But as far as the program, that's the word I was looking for, like not class but program. So I'm trying to do a program right now, and we're gonna call it Built from Scratch, hence
Hey, wow.
foundation.
Right on. And would this be open to all ages, or?
Yes, yeah. So ideally, I'm trying to shoot for the teenage years. So like maybe like 12 at the youngest to 17, 18 years old. Like that's my ideal target. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to offer, older people classes, because I'm trying to teach a more of a advanced class later. So what I want to start with is the youth. Just give back to the community, teach, get people interested, right? So my ideal plan would be like have like an 8-week course, teach kids, from the ages of 12 to like 18 years old. And then hopefully, I mean, like you never know, try to have a showcase at the mall or something like that. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like center court, because I mean, like they do Zumba there. So I mean, like
Didn't you just DJ there the other day?
yeah, I was there yesterday for the Fiesta 5. Like they had a dance battle there. Yeah, so I was there and I thought it was cool, like, being there, and then like center court. I think it would be a good idea. I came up with that idea like yesterday.
Hey, well, so do you came up with yesterday, but do you have a planned launch date? So I know it's only been like a day or two, but like,
Yeah, I mean, so like my planned launch date for the actual class is I'm hoping and I'm praying that it goes I want to start in June.
Of this year?
Yeah, June this year. Like I'm trying to get everything squared away. I don't want to say too much because there's certain things that haven't been signed in contract yet or anything like that. So I
For
just want
sure.
to, I just the basic information I can give you is that I'm trying to start it in June. I'm trying to have it like a kind of a summer program, an 8-week program. I already have a curriculum and everything like that. I just need to figure out where to have the class and graduation kind of thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I'm looking forward to it. I really wanted to do this as a passion project of mine. So yeah, I'm excited. And going back to like what I was saying earlier about like getting started with equipment and everything like that and having to pay. Yeah, there's going to be a membership charge. You know what I mean? Like you can't avoid that because there has to be like some kind of return. Like to like compensate for everything that I'm going to be providing. So yeah, I mean like it sounds negative, right? But instead of paying like what $700 $800 for all the equipment, I'm providing it basically for free for the membership of a enrollment basically, right? So you don't have to get a DJ controller. I'm going to provide that. You don't have to get headphones. I'm going to provide that. I'm going to provide the computer, and then I'm going to also bring my own personal equipment. So they get to try like different like uh, pieces of equipment, right? So at the end of the day, I think like me experience, like expressing my knowledge to them, and then showing them like how to use certain things, and then who knows, maybe like I might even just gift something to the top student, right? I'll be like, here's a DJ controller.
So
Here's
where
a
do I sign up? That's another side project you're gonna see me do. But so to get onto that, right?
Yeah.
Where in my opinion, I play guitar, right?
Yes.
And this is something I'm not the best at guitar, but like I like to play it. But if honestly, if I had, it's different from being a DJ. Obviously, we have like other people could be like, oh, we could always learn from YouTube, whatever. But here's my thing: if I had a class where I pay for, and obviously it's people say, oh, you got to pay, whatever, but you actually save more money because you don't even know if you like the hobby. You don't even know if you like it. If had I had like introduction to guitar before I bought
Mm.
my first guitar, and it had it been like a 2 week, 3 week course for like $50, and I find out I suck at it, I don't like it, I I probably would have just saved myself the time, probably saved myself the money, or I could have been like, wow, I'm decent at this, and now I have a teacher who's telling me what I'm messing up on instead of watching Marty Shorts on YouTube. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
But I think that's something cool because, and again, apples to orange comparison, like we talked about, you don't have to, for those who participate once this launches, they don't have to pay for anything. They can say like, okay, we get hands-on testing, we got hands-on equipment, real professional equipment.
Yeah. And
And
the big difference between like learning on YouTube or learning from like any other like video is that I'm personally there. So like say for instance your learning experience is different. Like if say for instance my student is a dancer, I can explain it to them in dancing. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, here we go, 1 2 3, boom, 1 2 3, boom. They understand that. Or say for instance you're a photographer, like oh you understand timing, so you need to make sure that your timing is right. Or if you're say for instance completely a novice and you don't know anything, now I need to break it down to you specifically versus you go on YouTube and you try to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like it's a very broad thing in YouTube, but that's what I'm going to be offering. And also another thing too is like, yeah, like there's negativity like, oh man, you got to pay. But sometimes you ever pay for something, you're like, oh man, I got to do it now.
oh yeah,
Like I pay for a gym membership, right? So if I'm paying for a gym membership versus getting a free membership, a free membership, I'm like, whatever. I don't
It's
need to
always
show up to the
there.
gym. Yeah, it's free. It's part of my insurance, right? But I'm like, oh no, I'm paying $80 for like, this premium like subscription kind of thing. Oh man, I better use it.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
feel that was me with the camera.
Yeah.
Luckily, shout out Pua again. If you watch the first episode, I got, and again, I should have bought a more professional camera, but because I had the money back then, now we don't. But that's true, man. Like now you got someone on you on your dog and making
Yeah.
sure making sure you're doing it right. But
Exactly.
and that's something that I can't wait to touch up. We'll definitely have you back on once this after the class starts, so we can highlight like how the program went,
Oh
like
yeah, for sure, man.
learning opportunities for you, like how you can iron it out, how because this is a new business venture for you, and it's still tapping into what you do best, and that's DJing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like also like kind of circling back, right? I feel like I'm a natural teacher. Like I look at people's experiences in their life and I try to like relate it to certain things so that they learn from it. because at the end of the day, no one is the same. We all learn differently. We all like have different like brain capacities and everything like that. So I just want to make sure that when I teach someone, that they take something away from it. At the end of the day, that's all I really want is takeaway. I wanted to do to be honest with you, I wanted to do the what do you call this, the program for free,
Dang.
but I wouldn't have a place. You know what I mean?
No, I
Like I
feel
gotta
you.
I gotta pay rent. I gotta pay for the power. I gotta pay for the the facility. I gotta pay for the equipment. If I had all the money in the world, or like someone wanted to give me like thousands of dollars, sure, I'll do it for free.
Right.
Because that's how much I care about it. But like just talking back about it is just that's what we're the reason why there's a charge for it, so that they feel like there's quality and quantity. The quality of the product is actually like worth paying for. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you, man. And in an ideal world, we'd be doing a lot of things. I would be doing this podcast just because,
Yeah,
but it's also another business venture for me.
yeah,
And but at the end of the day, it's still something that we hopefully with this episode, people learn how it's like being a DJ. The thought behind it through you, people learn more about your side of the industry, and that's really something we just want to offer to people because honestly, people say that the market's saturated no matter. But I say people say it's saturated no matter what industry you're in, whether it be a DJ, a photographer, a singer, modeling. But no, there's enough to eat.
oh yeah, for sure. Especially like here in Guam, there's like so much room for growth, and I wanted to grow the community, right? Because like to be honest with you, like there's such a negative connotation with being a DJ, because they think all you do is party, all you do is go out late at night, and no, you don't. I actually enjoy music, and I enjoy the intricacies of like learning about music. You know what I mean? Like, man, when I first started DJing, it was because of the bands like Incubus or like Limp Bizkit,
Oh
so
yeah,
they
man.
had DJs in their band, like so like Incubus, there's a guy scratching in the background and everything, making like all these cool noises. Linkin Park, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, man.
Like
You
Mr.
got
Han. Yeah, so he was always
right.
scratching, and those were the guys I was looking at as inspiration. So I never thought about like, oh, I'm gonna DJ in a club. I was like, I want to DJ in a band. You know what I mean?
So that's something
So
another venture you and I will go
yeah.
into. I'll be I'll be your Mike Shinoda. I'll be your MC.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, but see, that's what I'm saying, right? People think it's like, oh yeah, he wants to go out and he wants to party. No, I don't. Like, I really enjoy music, and I enjoy the aspect of DJing and providing like like a fun time and everything like that. It's not about going out partying. Sure, it comes with the territory, but there's also wedding DJs. There's also DJs who play for events. There's DJs who play for like sports events. It's because the music brings a certain energy, so you want to bring the energy for that type of event, right? So I like to call it event DJing versus uh, club DJing or anything like that, because there's really like you're a broad spectrum, and that's what I'm going to try to teach at the and in the classes in the school that I'm trying to open up, because like say for instance like there's Team Guam basketball, they need a DJ to play music in the background, get the crowd hyped, and then now they have an advantage because the music is like hyping them up, right? Versus a wedding DJ. Oh, I need to play more chill, like lovey-dovey type of songs. Like I'm not gonna play a breakup song during the wedding. And then also,
No Louis Capaldi at the wedding.
and then also then the club DJ, right? So you want to bring the energy, make people want to dance. Like I'm not gonna play like super slow jam R&B. Maybe at the end of the night, but like that's not the energy. So you just gotta experience the different energies, and then that's the type of DJ that I want to provide to the island, like build up these the people that want to learn, and make them have like their own style, I guess you could say.
Man, that's dope, and I can't wait to see that journey with you. And as we wrap up, there's one question I want to ask. There's two questions I
Okay.
want to ask. First, do you ever get tired of listening to music?
Yes,
Because
100%. I will tell you that I am a psycho, because I drive home in complete silence.
oh man, I can't do that. I get tired. I love music. I play guitar. Again, for like the fifth time, I play
Yeah.
guitar, right? But like, but I love music so much. I've listened. I'm still. It's not a phase, man. It is
Yeah.
a lifestyle. I listen to Blink 182, Linkin Park till now. But I need times where I don't need songs. I'll be listening to podcasts.
Yeah, no, I mean same, but man, like there's times where it's just like it's such a serene feeling where just complete silence. and you just kind of drive, and then you're just like in your thoughts, and then you're kind of like, oh yeah, this is what I'm thinking about, like, oh, planning out my day for tomorrow, whatever, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm home, you know.
And my intrusive thoughts might make my car kiss the tree. If I'm doing that. Jokes aside, if you need help,
Yeah.
please reach out 988 for Guam Behavioral
Yeah.
Health. But in my last question, what do you think of this DJ name? I was thinking about it because you
Okay.
said it. I was thinking
Let's go.
I was
I'm
gonna go
waiting,
by
waiting.
Fluffy 671. What do you think?
Man,
Is there already one like that?
Drop the 671, and we were gonna call it a
DJ
a good-
Fluffy?
yeah.
Man,
Okay, man. Okay. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, right? So the reason why, like, man, I don't like the 671. Yes, I represent Guam. I love
Right.
Guam. Guam is my home. I love Guam to death. But when you start associating yourself specifically to the one niche, you limit yourself. You know what I mean?
ooh,
Like, so say for instance, like if I called myself like J Pogi 671, right? They're always gonna wonder what a 671 is, and then I'm always gonna be known as just the Guam DJ. Versus if I go somewhere else, I'm like, out there and everything like that. So even business wise, right? Because this is like also part of the business podcast kind of thing, right? So you wanted to learn about the intricacies of those things, like advertising your entity itself. Like if you call yourself like something 671, how can you expand beyond Guam, right? Like you don't see businesses in the States call themselves McDonald's Illinois. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah, it's McDonald's. That's the entity.
Excluding their Instagram handle because
Yeah, I
it's
mean, of
usually-
course, because you have to have the specific ones to
Right.
find. But before, all those handles, it's that, like you have, that's the name, and same thing. Like, I don't know any DJ like, in the States and everything like that. It's like it's not like Tiesto, Tiesto, whatever area code he's from, or like 702 or something like that. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like that's Tiesto. So I
Right.
think like at the end of the day, you don't want to limit yourself. That's the only reason why I'm like against like completely associating yourself with something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you don't want to be proud of where you're from, And I'm definitely proud of where I'm from. I love Guam, So it's like I represent the island in a sense where I'm proud of it and I talk about it, but I don't need to have it where it's visually seen. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. And
Yeah.
that's something that I'm going to take to heart, and I'm going to change my photography username from DJ Studio 670 to something else now. But all jokes aside, man, it was great having you. Anything else you want to plug in before as we wrap up?
Yeah, honestly, like I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's always been involved in my life. Like, shout out DJ Silent. Shout out to all my other DJ friends, my personal friends out there. I mean, they kind of know who they are. I don't need to really name them, but I just want to say like, hey, thanks for you guys, because like honestly, like it helps me keep going. And then thanks for everyone that comes out to my gigs, that supports me, that hired me, and everything like that, because I wouldn't be here without them. Like, and I just want to make sure that everyone enjoys themselves and that I provide a proper service, that everyone wants to hire me like often and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Yeah.
And speaking of service, where can people find you throughout the week jamming out?
I mean, like I don't have a consistent gig anymore. I'm kind of just like freestyling it, but I'm what I like to call a real DJ. No, but REEL, right? So real.
Oh, IG
Yeah.
Real.
I created that little hashtag. So real DJ, right? So I DJ a lot. You can find my stuff on Instagram. So I post like, I don't know, I'll say like at least once a month, twice. Something like that. So you can find me on there at DJ J Pogi. So there's two J's. So at DJ J Pogi. And then you can find me there. You can hit me up. I post a lot of my flyers there. So pretty much that's the best way to contact me. I don't use my Facebook anymore. I don't have TikTok, So like Twitter is not a thing anymore.
It's
And
X now. X gonna
Exactly.
give it to you.
Yeah, so I don't use too much of the other things. So find me on Instagram. I post everything there. Like I'm all around,
Right on. And thank you again for having us or being with us here at the Dusk
For
Till Don
sure.
podcast. And we'll catch you again. And we're looking forward to that
The DJ school, yeah.
DJ school. I was trying to think of the name Dispensa. I'm like,
Yeah, university. No, I'm just kidding.
eventually. Thank you all again for watching. Stay tuned. Until next time, stay cherry chelu. Adios.